I started gymnastics when I was about 8 years old, and I think the reason I started, I saw it on telly, I think, in the Olympics. I can't remember what Olympics it was, but yeah, it's just from seeing that on the TV just made me want to start, I think. I got in the British team when I was 18. That's when I started taking it a bit more seriously, and then yeah, there's my first World Championships when I was 18, and yeah, that's when it sort of became more, rather than a hobby, more of a profession. Most memorable achievement in gymnastics is, I would say, World Championships 2003. That was my first big competition that I'd ever got a gold medal in, and yeah, it was by far the best achievement I think in gymnastics. Injuries in training, I got, I mean, mainly ankles is the big thing in tumbling. Obviously, you're taking a lot of impact through your ankles, but yeah, I've had different injuries, really, just all little bits and bobs. Bad back, bad elbows, everything. Nothing in gymnastics. Nothing really massively serious in gymnastics. I changed career in 2006. I think it was 2006, 2007, something like that. I got a call from a guy called Brad Allen, who was part of Jackie Chan's stunt team at the time, and he called me, and I was just training in the gym. He called me up and said, "I've seen your video on YouTube. Do you want to be involved in stunts?" And I thought it was a joke to start off with, and then soon became apparent it was quite serious. And I said, yeah, I'd love to come and have a go, sort of thing. And then I went to him, and I spent 6 months off and on this movie, did that, and then he just said, "Oh, I like the way you work. Do you want to carry on and be part of the team?" And I thought it was one of those things that people say, but come to it, and he just rang me up a few months later and just said, "Oh, I've got another job for you," and another job. And I always anticipated that I'd go back into training, but I just it was kind of hard. Like, I had a few months off, and then to try and get back into training was always hard. So then I thought, well, if this is the way things are going, then I might as well stick with this career and try and make the most of it. And then so that was it, really. About 2007 was the time I really sort of stopped competing and decided to spend more time on the stunts. First film I was on was Hellboy 2, and that was the first time I'd ever been on a movie set, first time I'd ever been in that industry ever, really. It was it was my first big break, I think. And then from there I just sort of just tried to do the best I can, and I honestly thought that would be the only job I did. I thought I'd just go back to training after that, and then I sort of went back, started to get back into training and competing, and then I got a call again saying, "Do you want to be in the next film, and the next film, and the next film?" And then it just sort of spiraled from there, really. The thing that I like about stunt work, it's possibly the closest thing I've found to competing. I mean, you can't find something that rivals the competition aspect in any competition, I suppose, that you do. But if you ever be in a competition, you get that nerves and that anxiety about it, and it's quite hard to replicate that when you've finished competing. When you've made that your entire life, being on the edge, being nervous, and having to sort of overcome that, it sort of gets a little bit addictive. And the closest thing I've found to it is stunt work. I mean, you've got a stunt that could be potentially quite dangerous, and you've got to try and do that to your best of your ability, and not only just dangerous, but you don't want to let people down on set. You don't want people to do time wasting for you and all that sort of stuff. But the lucky thing about stunts is that yes, you could get hurt, but you do get a second go if the take's not exactly perfect. Whereas in competing, you don't get that. You can train a whole 2 years for this one moment. At World Championships every 2 years, you train the 2 years solidly for that moment. You mess up, you've got another 2 years to wait. Whereas obviously stunts is a little bit easier. So it's not the same adrenaline, but it is the closest thing I've found up to yet. The dangers in stunts don't put me off, really. No, I enjoy it. I do like I say, I like getting that little bit of that bit of anxiety. I like it. It's like I say, it becomes a bit addictive. But it's another obstacle to overcome, isn't it? I mean, it's one of those things that the more you practice at something, the less dangerous it gets. The more I can prepare myself in any way, shape or form, whether it's just learning orientation while falling, learning how to hit the ground hard, learning how to fall downstairs, learning how to do fire routines. I mean, the danger comes from the unknown. If I prepare myself for it and I train for it, in trying to get in every aspect that I can, obviously when you get on set, there's always going to be something different out there. that sort of throws you off a little bit. But if you can minimise that unknown, the more you minimise it, the less dangerous it is. Films that I've worked on is Hellboy 2, Ninja Assassin, Kick-Ass, Captain America, Sherlock Holmes 2, Skyfall, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, The Eagle. No other roles on set really. I mean, there's been little bits of acting points in, but I mean very little. I mean, as far as you're a stunt actor, you're not in there to actually do any sort of acting role, but you sort of, maybe got a couple of beats to do that you see your face and all that sort of stuff. But that's not really for me. I don't think the acting bit, that's not really my cup of tea. I like to go in there, do my job, and then get out. That's it. Yeah, atmosphere on set. I mean, the novelty soon wears off. It was my first day, it wore off straight away. It's one of those things that it just becomes a normal job after a bit. The more people, everybody sort of looks at it as this glamorous job, and it's not really. Everyone gets on set and they're just doing their job, and there's a lot of waiting around. The whole job is, on film industries is waiting around, because you're waiting on setting a camera up, you're waiting on setting lights up, you're waiting on retakes, you're waiting on other things. So you do a hell of a lot of waiting. It's a good stunt guy once said to me, it's endless amounts of boredom interspersed with moments of excitement, and that's pretty much how it is. You could be sat around all day, even all week, and then all of a sudden, get hit by a car or have to fall down some steps, or those things that happen are relatively small as far as the workload goes. Advice to anybody who wants to get into gymnastics is, go join your local club and, sort of take it from there. Really, see if you enjoy it for the start. I mean, that's the main thing, is that whatever you're going to do in life, whether it's gymnastics, stunts, it could be any sport or any sort of activity. If you enjoy doing it, that's the most important thing. But you've got to find out what you enjoy doing and what you prefer to do. There's no point in, that when people go to the gym all day and they dread coming to the gym on the treadmill, or they dread going on the bike and they dread lifting weights. I think, well, there's no point in doing that, if my understanding. You have to find something that you enjoy doing, that keeps you active, keeps you healthy, and then once you've got that, then you look forward to doing it. So that's my advice to anybody doing anything you want to do. If stunt industry is the one that you want to go down, then there's the stunt registrar in England that you should go on to, and using research that on the internet, and but it's something that shouldn't be taken lightheartedly. If you want to do something, whatever you want to do in life, find out what you want to do, and if it makes you happy, do it. The World Tour of Stunt Awards are basically like the Oscars for the stunt industry. Each film they sort of gets to nominate, or each stunt guy gets to nominate a certain film or a certain fight scene or a certain stunt guy that in each discipline that they can sort of put forward for an award. Very similar, like I say, to the Oscars or any sort of awards thing. Then they whittle it down to 5 sort of nominees, and everyone gets to vote on which one they sort of think is the favourite. There's things like best fight scene, hardest hit, best wire work, best work at heights, all this sort of stuff, and then best coordinating and all that stuff. So there's lots of different categories in it. And in 2010, myself and the other guys in the fight team won best fight scene for the film Ninja Assassin, which pretty much the entire end of the film is just one big fight scene. To be honest, it's not. It was definitely a good achievement in my life. It was nice sort of get recognised for it. Plans for the future, I've got a new show reel coming out hopefully not coming out in a few months' time. I'm going to start it in a couple of months' time. So maybe towards the end of summer it should be out, or middle of summer sort of time. Apart from that, nothing really planned. I mean, whatever comes in I sort of take, really. It's just a day-to-day thing. I don't really try and plan anything. If something comes in, I'll sort of assess it, and then if it feels right, I'll do it.